So estrogen, 3 different types, approaching 52 or thereabouts. It's much sooner now because the environmental estrogen that's coming in through the glyphosate and Roundup and what have you, and all the GMO products and the soy, canola oil, cottonseed oil, and all that stuff. So it's estrogenizing the body that's already estrogenized. So that's causing havoc with your levels. So that's estrogen. Progesterone, as you start to get older, everything, your ovaries certainly are slowing down, and so your ovaries will stop producing these hormones that we actually need, and the ratios are tipped and the levels are, your body is adjusting to the aging process, and we start to lose hormones. Particularly when the ovary starts to slow down, the adrenal takes over. But if you've got adrenal fatigue, or you've been stressed, or you've been living in a stressed state and the adrenal is weak, then the adrenal can't support the ovary like it could or should, and therefore the menopause will be a bit of a battle for you for a good 10 years anyway. Testosterone, obviously we know it as the male hormone. However, in higher amounts, we've all got it, but in higher amounts, testosterone, too much testosterone, can lead to, or can show up in the body, the female body, as PCOS. And PCOS is a direct association between, and it's significantly higher with high insulin levels. So if your insulin is high because of your blood sugar being too high, then that could cause the spin-off of increased androgen or testosterone, which leads to symptoms and signs like facial hair, hair loss on your head, a deeper voice. So the male hormone, which nobody wants, so please bear that in mind as well, it's linked to insulin. The cortisol, the fat storage hormone or the stress hormone, in the presence of too much cortisol, you will store belly fat. No matter what you do, no matter how much you train, no matter how much you move, you'll still keep that layer of belly fat, and it's survival, it's primal. So we need to control and minimise stress and stressors. And the noise, all that noise that we don't need, we need to minimise it all and just shut it down. And what we do on Feel Look Be is we try and stay present and minimise the noise. So that's cortisol, that's the fat storage hormone. In the presence of too much cortisol, you will store fat, predominantly belly fat. However, growth hormone, I want to talk about that tonight. Growth hormone is the told you I was tired, the best fat burning hormone. So not fat storage, but fat burning hormone. In the presence of growth hormone, you will most definitely burn fat. Now, when you're younger, you've got loads of it. When you're starting to get older, sort of between 45 and 55, like everything, the growth hormone starts to slow down. We've talked about growth hormone at various different times on Feel Look Be. Here are some really important facts that you need to know. So remember we talked about glands producing hormones, and they are the carriers of, they're the communications and the carriers of information. So the hypothalamus talks to the pituitary gland. The pituitary gland then releases growth hormone, which then works itself to the liver, and the liver produces a hormone called insulin-like growth factor. So it's IGF-1. Now IGF-1 is responsible for controlling blood sugar level when you're not eating. So like insulin is responsible for controlling your blood sugar when you've just eaten, but insulin-like growth factor 1 is responsible for controlling your blood sugar when you're not eating. And that really takes the form of growth hormone. So when growth hormone hits the liver, the spin-off is IGF-1, and it's IGF-1 which is active and performs, if you like, the role of growth hormone. Growth hormone is incredibly anti-aging. It's amazing. That's why, athletes and bodybuilders and people in the sports world inject growth hormone illegally. That's why cattle are injected with growth hormone, because it makes them big. They sell it markets, and so it makes things bigger. It's very anabolic. Remember, catabolic means breaking down, anabolic means building up. I remember when I was wee, I was obsessed with sprinters. Like, I was a sprinter myself. And remember Ben Johnston got his medal taken from him because anabolic steroids were found. And I always remember I was reading up when I was younger, and I was only maybe about 8 at the time, and I was reading up even at that time all about anabolic steroids and what they do. And so growth hormone is very anabolic. It makes things bigger and stronger. But here are some things that boost growth hormone, and you are going to want to hear about them and do them. Sleep. When you're in that delta wave of sleep, that deep sleep, growth hormone goes through the roof. So if you're a deep sleeper and you're a good sleeper, then chances are you're going to be producing lots of growth hormone. However, if you've got insomnia, you don't sleep, you're a regular sleeper, and it's kind of short little bursts, then you're not going to be able to maximise on that delta state and produce lots of growth hormone. And that is also linked a lot to stress and managing stress. So intense exercise. So something like a sprint, not a jog, not like sit-ups, nothing aerobic, if you like. It's more like anaerobic type stuff. Fast, sharp, high intensity, like a sprint. That's great for producing growth hormone or boosting growth hormone. Low blood sugar. So our meal plans get your blood sugar on a level where you could produce a lot of growth hormone. When you eat too much carbs or sugar, you get knocked out, as you know, of fat burning mode, because you slow growth hormone right down and you boost insulin. So both of those they just hamper and stop your fat burning mechanisms. So you don't want that. Amino acids, you need them, including arginine. And you get arginine in lots of animal proteins. And so our meal plans are absolutely fantastic. Fasting. Intermittent fasting will boost or can boost growth hormone anything between 1,000 and 2,000% of your normal production. Fasting is amazing. And the anti-aging benefits of fasting, then you have to be all over that. If you can fast, you should fast. But if it provokes reactions like, you've perhaps had eating disorders or issues in the past with food, then it's definitely not worth it. You shouldn't fast. But if you can fast and it agrees with you, fast. Niacin or vitamin B3 also helps the production of growth hormone and boosts it. I'm dressed for the winter actually because I've got my heating on and I've got about 3 layers on today. So it's absolutely, it's like winter here tonight. Vitamin D also helps growth hormone levels. Conversely though, here's what would slow down the production of growth hormone. High carbohydrate diets, so breads, cereals, cakes, pastas, rices, white potatoes, all of the stuff that's not on your meal plan. Overtraining. When you overtrain and you train far too hard, you put your body on under huge amounts of stress, and that could produce too much cortisol, which again will offset the beneficial hugely beneficial properties of growth hormone and slow it down. You don't want to do that. If you're overtraining, then you can't. You're also going to be shattered and tired, and you're not going to be able to give 100% to your workouts when you do work out or you do move, and you're just going to be depleted and flat. And you see that in a lot of people that's tracking calories and macros and working into calorie deficits all the time. They're knackered. They're going to the gym every day. They're in a calorie deficit. They're eating low-fat alternatives. And the foods that they're eating are ultra processed. There's no nutrients in them. They can't support the body. They can't support the functions. There's loads of endocrine disruptors in there. It's not organic. There's tons of chemicals in there. And the whole thing's just a minefield of ill health just sitting waiting on them. And it's really frightening. But people don't know this stuff. They think that because they're tracking their calories, then, well, that's great. I'm in a calorie deficit. So that's amazing. Actually, it's not really. Stress will also slow down growth hormone production, as I've said. Insomnia, obesity, probably because if you're obese, then your blood sugar levels are going to be too high, and high blood sugar is going to deplete or slow down growth hormone production. Low thyroid, hypothyroidism is also something, and a fatty liver, or a liver that can't perform because you've either got cirrhosis, a scarring of the liver, hepatitis, or fatty liver. Remember, growth hormone, after the pituitary gland works its way to the liver, where IGF-1 takes over and becomes the activating hormone, if you like. So if your liver is backed up and there's fat in there and it can't perform like it should, one, it's going to affect your thyroid. That could be the main reason that your thyroid is a hypothyroid issue. So the hypothyroid issue could well be secondary to this fatty liver, but also the liver can't produce what it has to produce. So it's going to slow everything down. And actually the detoxifying, amazing job that the liver has, that's going to be slowed down. So in terms of cleansing the body, it's going to be really, really difficult for your liver to do its job if you are overweight, obese, blood sugars are through the roof, and you have just got too much fat in there. Added to that, you've got your liver trying to sort out the issues with estrogen and, bring the ratios to a healthy ratio. So too much of one and not enough of the other could be 16-hydroxy or the cancer prevention or cancer causing estrogen. So your liver's trying to deal with all that, and it can't really do that if you are constantly overeating. You're eating all the wrong things, you're clogging it up with fat. Bile is stuck between the liver and the gallbladder. You're getting gallstones, you're getting acid reflux, you've got aches and pains because of the arthritis and bursitis and tendinitis because of the inflammation. The whole thing could be fixed. It really could be if you just eat properly and you eat the meal plans. So that's that. Good. The whole reason you produce growth hormone is to preserve proteins. Now, proteins are your hair, your nails, your collagen, your cartilage, your muscles, everything. Your whole life is a protein. And that's what growth hormone does. It preserves that. And as you start to go older, generally you start to lose muscle mass. That's why when we do our movement sessions, I ask you to think about the resistance that you're using, to think about the weights, to overload the muscle, because you want to maintain or build on the muscle that you've got. You don't want to be losing it, because naturally that's what the aging process is going to do. You're going to start losing it from your legs, you're going to start losing the fullness from your bum. Your arms are going to start, everything's going south. And it's going south for a reason, because a lot of it's disappearing, the muscles are going and the skin just starts to hang. But when you train with resistance equipment, you basically counteract that. You're filling out the muscle and building on it. So basically, growth hormones are responsible for cell growth, cell regeneration and cell reproduction. Do you need it? Absolutely. Do you want it in bucket loads? Oh yes, of course you do. It also helps memory. It's an amazing fat burner. It retains calcium for bones and teeth, like you need it, and not in the arteries. And K2, remember, K2 will help transport. My boot up formula has D3 and K2. D3 will help absorb, K2 will help transport the calcium out of the arteries, you don't want it in there, into bones and teeth. Also, if in your younger years, if there's not enough growth hormone, it can actually stunt growth. Good, covered. Excellent. So in a nutshell, estrogen, covered. Progesterone, testosterone, cortisol, growth hormone and insulin. Key hormones in the body that FAIL-LOOK-B helps optimise. Hormone optimization. This is the missing part of the jigsaw. When people talk to you about calories in, calories out, move more, eat less, they negate all of this stuff. Where does all of this stuff fit into that? It doesn't, well, it does, but that's not made clear to you. And it becomes a numbers game. You start counting the calories, you might weigh your food, you start plugging it into MyFitnessPal, and you chase and monitor the numbers because you're trying to keep eating, but with so few calories or into a calorie deficit. And when you do that, the quality of the food diminishes. You can't get all of this stuff. You might even be eating what I call dirty protein. The proteins that you're eating might be really bad, not high quality, not grass-fed. You're not interested in that. You are on Feel Look Be, of course you are. And in any of my programs, you're definitely interested in the quality of the protein. But with a lot of these people training with personal trainers and stuff, they don't have this information at hand. And so it's really, really misleading. So when I say to you, there's so many variables to consider when we were talking about calories and, you know, the energy balance equation. Of course, there is an energy balance equation. I accept that. But there's so much more to that giant puzzle. And all you really need to do is concentrate on the quality of the food that you eat, which I absolutely prioritise because that's why I give you a meal plan. So you can't go wrong. And you follow it. And it's as simple as that. We are fasting, we're moving, I'm helping you reduce your stress, I'm encouraging you to sleep. We're doing everything that it's just said on that tin. My notes tin, written in pencil. We're doing everything. So, I hope that made sense to you. It's vital that you know this stuff, and when you know better, you can definitely do better. When you know this stuff, you can stick to things. When you don't know, you fall off the wagon because you don't really understand the concepts. So that is hormones. That's done. I was under pressure there. Did you see that? And breathe. I hate that. What about that then? Feel Look Be. Hormones in a nutshell. Did you feel my pressure there? I was trying to go between two cameras. My eyeballs were going 90 to the dozen. Do you know anybody that goes live to deliver content like this? Anywhere, on anything? Any courses that you've ever booked on? Anything that you've ever done? Do you ever get somebody sitting live with you doing this stuff for 105 quid a month? And people have got the cheek to say it's dear. They're obviously sitting in the dark, listening to Joe Wicks and Davina McCall. Because that's what people think. I think they think that's what I do. You know, I jump about daft in a gym and you know, I talk in a high-pitched voice about menopause. Can I tell you the best thing that you can do, if you can, is fast. Fasting is amazing. When you're eating really well and you're sticking to that meal plan and you're doing intermittent fasting and you're moving. On the way back, I was listening to the Tom Jones story. Did you see The Voice the other night? I never seen it, but my mum says, watch this, Shell. My mum loves Tom Jones. And she put him on. Oh my God. Did you feel that? Oh. He was, you know, he had more women probably than me and you have had, you know, green soup. But he loved his wife. Hey. This is the kind of things you come out with when you've watched him. You feel sorry for him. Actually, keep it in your trousers, Tom. Good on the boy. He's 81. He's had a good life. He's having a great life. But if you've not seen it, you must go and watch it. It's incredible, and the song is amazing. Just if you can't be in a low place to listen to that song. You have to be kind of like on your game and on your A game, because that would just send you deeper. You'd be like, oh no. Ah, not in the police, but worked in a prison, but after being here, you gave me the balls to move. Come on. Well done, Step Tig. That's not your name. We're done. That's hormones. I hope you're learning. Hope you're learning lots and taking it all in. Great stuff. Okay, so as much as this is a serious topic, you can see and feel that I'm trying to keep it light for you. I'm trying to keep it light for you so as we could all just move at the same pace. Everybody's different. You'll learn differently. Some of you are really, really serious and put angry faces. And if I find you, I will tell you this. You will not do it again. And some of you like to laugh along with me, and I love it. Love, love, love it. In fact, we've done the, God love yous, you sit and listen to me on these Zooms, the team. And I have to, absolutely have to just be myself. And so if somebody comes out with something, I just answer it the way I would as a human being, with feelings and emotions, and it's not a textbook answer. It's the right information, but it's my way. And I can see people going, I don't know if this is for me or not. Well, that's fine. It's best that they know now, isn't it? I think that's best for everybody, really.